This is Dr. Phil Chavez. Luke chapter 2, verses 41 through 52 is the gospel reading for the upcoming Sunday following Christmas, Year C. Now here we commemorate in a special way the Holy Family. For the most part, the life of the Son of God, as we all know, with his parents is shrouded in a kind of mystery. We know so little. There's his birth and his presentation in the temple, then this interesting episode of Jesus, Mary, and Joseph when they travel to Jerusalem for the Passover feast. Instead of returning home with Mary and Joseph in the motorcade, Jesus stays behind. Joseph and Mary look for him anxiously for 3 days, and finally they find him in the temple. Their dialogue and response is very interesting. Again, our gospel begins at Luke chapter 2, verse 41. Each year, Jesus' parents went to Jerusalem for the feast of the Passover. And when he was 12 years old, they went up according to festival custom. And after they had completed stays, they were returning. The boy Jesus remained behind in Jerusalem, but his parents did not know it. Thinking that he was in the caravan, they journeyed for a day and looked for him among their relatives and acquaintances. But not finding him, they returned to Jerusalem to look for him. After 3 days, they found him in the temple, sitting in the midst of the teachers, listening to them and asking them questions. All who heard him were astounded at his understanding and his answers. When his parents saw him, they were astonished. And his mother said to him, "Son, why have you done this to us? Your father and I have been looking for you with great anxiety." And he said to them, "Why were you looking for me? Did you not know that I must be in my Father's house?" But they did not understand what he said to them. First, as this reading starts, every year in his life, Jesus went with his parents to Jerusalem for the Passover, yet it wasn't required of him as a child. Now, according to St. Bede, this was indicative of his humility as a man, yet it is also a man's duty to worship God and to offer sacrifices and prayers of reconciliation to him. Now, this is one's highest end, and Jesus sets the example with his own life at an early age. Now, possibly, too, the God-man Jesus is simply renewing the offering of himself at the temple, offering each year the sacrifice of his own earthly life. But yet he gives an example that even young men should be taught to worship God and offer themselves frequently. It is never too young to teach a child that the vital act of worship to God is the offering of oneself. Now, secondly, Jesus stays behind in Jerusalem, perhaps for several reasons. He is independently going to the temple, his father's house, and is facing his father on his own. Here he is exercising some independence, acting as an individual, which is appropriate for a young man of 12. In this way, Jesus sets the example for boys becoming men who must face God on their own with personal initiative. Now, at this young age, he expresses great interest in discussing the things of God. So boys, too, at the onset of adolescence, I believe, need to religious engagement to discuss the things of God for sound maturation. So for all these reasons, it is proper that a young man spend time routinely in the house of his eternal Father. If anything, it's vital as adolescence itself is a very trying period. God be with you.